All right, learn how to turn your video presentations into engaging, interactive, and easily monetizable online courses that can pretty much be taken anywhere. We'll help you easily take your recordings from, say, webinars to interviews, and even your newest promotional video, and convert them into captivating, interactive learning experiences that are perfect for our distracted world. I'll show you the step-by-step of how to motivate and engage with your online course today. So welcome to AI Parenting Live. Our motto is don't sedate, relate to create. And today we are talking about sensational online courses that compel people to action. And even if you're not a parent, this live stream will give you practical steps to take your existing videos and turn them into these engaging, active online courses. I'm your host, Dr. Ed, and I've been working in educational technology for over 15 years. And I am excited to share with you some of the recent work that I've been doing with WordPress and LearnDash for the AI Parenting website. So now when I refer to learners, I'm not just referring to kids. I'm believe that in this ever-changing world, we all need to be lifelong learners. So this work has motivated me to reflect on the state of online learning today. John Dewey said that, well, we don't learn from experience. We learn from reflecting on experience. And I've always been a fan of the Socratic method. And now I'm more convinced than ever that the purpose of online courses today is to compel people to action and reflection. If they aren't taking action, you're not helping them. If they aren't reflecting, then they're not going to remember what they've learned long term. So last week, I spoke about video funnel secrets, and I provided practical tools to convert attention into a list of prospects that are consistently taking action, even if it's just watching your videos. This is really the first step for any idea or product. So if you haven't watched the video, I'd recommend go to aiparenting.live. You can watch the replay, or you can even take the course if you'd like. Now, today we'll focus on the next step. So you've got the video, you've got the attention. Now, the next step is really creating an online course and motivating them to take action. Your creativity is going to be wasted if you do not have an audience for that creativity. And so there are three main points that I feel don't typically get covered when speaking about online courses, but they're so important. The first one is to motivate sign up. And so just to be clear, this course is about sensational online courses. So the first thing that I'm going to do is motivate sign up. How do you use your existing video previews to speak to a cold audience, somebody who knows nothing about you? The second is to motivate action. How do you get learners to actively reflect rather than passively just watch your videos? And this is the key. It's like you want to move people to action. And then the third part is going to be about motivating proof. So how do you address some of the objections and make sure that you build an educational brand for the long term? So are you ready? I hope so. Feel free, by the way, we are active in the chat. You're going to learn a lot more. Oh, Alice is here. Wonderful, wonderful. So I'm so glad to have you as well. Appreciate it. So Alice says, hi, Dr. Ed. So awesome, awesome. Cool. I am so glad to have you. But again, you're going to learn way more about this if you're active in the chat. So please write your comments in the chat. Okay, so let's get right into it. So the first one that I'm going to talk about is motivating the sign up. So when it comes to a cold audience for your online course, people always start at a very low level of interest. And our job is to move them to a high level of interest so that they will take action. So you can build interest by removing any objections that they might have. Some of the exceptions that they might have is one, I'm never going to use this in my life. You ever heard that? The second one is, I don't need to learn this right now. And then the third one is, this thing just takes too much time. I don't have time for this. So to answer these objections, we can borrow a lesson from the great marketing copywriters like Dan Kennedy, who wrote about the pain, agitate, and solution formula. And I really like this because it relates so much to these 3 objections for courses. So I'm going to take what he said and I'm going to adapt it for online courses. All right. I hope this is making sense. But that's what you're going to get. It's like a mini marketing course here because I love his course so much. So the first one, let's deal with pain. Okay. We're going to talk about the pain portion. I think pain is a very important aspect. So let's see if can I just have just say pain? Okay, sweet. I can. All right. So Dan said that when you understand that people are more likely to act to avoid pain than to get gain, you'll understand how powerful this first part of the formula is. It may be the most reliable sales formula that has ever been invented. And that is a straight up quote from Dan Kennedy inside the book, Magnetic Marketing. And so if you haven't seen it, it's actually in the Amazon Live. Like you can actually just click it and buy the book direct. So have you already created a course, maybe in Coursera or Udacity, and it didn't get a lot of purchases? You ever wonder why? Why is that? I love the quote from Dan Kennedy inside his book, because he said, I'm gonna keep quoting him. There's this story about legendary copywriter Gary Halbert, who once asked a room full of aspiring writers, now imagine you're opening up a hamburger stand on the beach. What do you need to most succeed? And so in this course, answers included secret sauce, a great location, quality meat. And Halbert replied, you guys, you missed the most important thing. A starving crowd. People who are really hungry. Your job is to find that starving crowd who can't live without what it is that you have to offer. And so what we want to do in terms of targeting is to find good prospective customers for our business that can be reached affordably, that are likely to buy, and they're preferably people who already know us or who already trust us. So the first step is making sure that you find those starving, those audience that you can target. And that, of course, this helps to solve the objection of, oh, this course is boring because they can't see how they're going to practically use this information in their lives today. So both this is boring and I'm never going to use this in my life are actually, they're the same objection. Does that make sense? So when they're saying it's boring or that I'm never going to use this in my life, that's essentially what they're saying is that it's not relevant to me. So the key is, it's not that your stuff isn't relevant. It's just, have you found the right audience for it? So are you going to the right spaces? I hope that's making sense. This is, of course, a live stream. So feel free to ask me questions anytime. I'm here to answer them. And I do appreciate having you. So the next one I love is in this formula, there's pain, agitate, and solution. So the next one is called agitate. And I love agitate because, to me, pain itself is so powerful of a starting point. But the next step about agitate is just as important, because if you don't agitate, you find that they don't buy. Another common objection is, especially if people are doing an online course, is, look, I don't need to learn this. I don't need to learn this right now. And the now is referring to the urgency of learning this today. So if the course is always available on the internet, why not wait until I'm actually going to use the materials in the course first? I mean, I'm already overwhelmed with the amount of things that I have to do right now. I can't take on another course. And so we need to ask, well, what happens if this problem doesn't get solved? What happens if things stay the same? If not now, then when? The key thing to remember is that if they don't take action today, the current pains that they have will not go away. They're just going to get worse. The only way to resolve the issue is to deal with the pains directly. And so we don't need to be super creative here. This is really about research. So the recommendations from the book, Magnetic Marketing, is to research the reviews of existing products. Interview some of the people who perhaps watched your videos in the past and ask them about what their plans are for their lives. What is holding them back from achieving their goals? Our goal here is to paint a picture of what the ideal future looks like compared to the dark reality of today. And so that's one of the reasons why this agitate is so important. So for example, with AI parenting, so this series right here, I describe a fork in the road where we must either choose between this AI controlled dystopia where learning and working is all controlled by AI and computers, or we can choose this other path of moving towards creativity and authenticity. And the only way that we can give creativity a fighting chance is to give creative best practices an unfair advantage in the marketplace. I mean, there's billions of dollars being made every single day by big tech companies that are pushing towards an AI proctored or managed future. So how are we going to fight back? We're going to fight back by giving you this unfair advantage. And we're going to use classical techniques that have been tried, tested, and true for more than 100 years. Like there's nothing new here. This is the same stuff that they use for direct mail, like mail marketing. This is the stuff that they used in advertisements years and years ago. They captured fundamentals of human behavior. We're gonna teach you all these things. It's gonna make you a better educator. It's gonna make you a better, like for your online courses, it's gonna make you a better influencer. And so that's why we do what we do. And so again, it's like, well, what happens if I don't do any of this learning? What happens if I skip all this stuff? Well, nothing's gonna change, right? Like, when do you want to become that influencer, or when do you want to build that legacy? Ask that question. So yes. Oh, okay. Oh, Alice is also following me on okay, thanks, Alice, on Amazon as well. So that's fantastic. Okay, so now this is where I will go into those objections, but I'll give you a sense of like Coursera. The last thing that I want to talk about is the solution. So pain, we did agitate. Now the last one that I want to cover is solution. And solution, like they also call it solve, but I prefer solution. The last objection is that the course itself is going to take too much time or effort. And this actually relates quite well. This is one of the reasons actually why I don't recommend having a course outline in the sales page. Many people will go, here's the syllabus of exactly what I'm going to teach in my online course. I do not recommend that, because people look at all the things that they have to learn, and the first thing that they come up with is they feel overwhelmed. And they say, forget this course. I'm not going to take it. It's going to take way too much time. So you need to position the solution as an easy step-by-step process. And sometimes the shorter that the course is, the more focused it is on a specific niche topic. It tends to do better than a longer one with a broader range of topics. Like, for example, internet marketing as a whole. Like, it might be too big for it to cover, like in one course, but I just want to know about how do I use video in Instagram. That can be a much smaller course and much easier for people to consume. And so make sure that your solution is easy, it's step-by-step, it's something that people can consume fairly easily. Another way to address it takes too much time objection is to provide certificates or badges that come with your course. So for example, I have a video funnels secrets course. What's the best way? I'll just show you what this looks like. Is that okay? Like I'm going to use myself as an example. It's going to work. Yes. Okay. So here's the course. So in the online course, I have like video funnel secrets. And so if you click on it right here, it'll open up the course, but it also says like, oh, this is what this course is. It has like a brief video. And so that gives you a sense of like what this course is about. And it has a quick description. What you're going to learn, like I try to relate it to how it's going to help you. And then I have, of course, the thumbnails that are part of my course in here. And so what you get at the end of finishing this course, though, is not just the course, you get this badge. So this badge right here, so this is a certificate that you'll get. And then underneath, I don't know if you can see this yellow thing, that's the badge that is provided with the course. And all you need to do is just answer some questions, and that course is provided for you. And so what it means is that you'll be rewarded for the amount of effort that you put in. Of course, the badge is awarded just for watching all of the videos, and the certificate is awarded when you complete just a short quiz. And the quiz is really just to make sure I get a clear understanding. And this is leading into my next point about motivating action once they have taken the course. So far, is this making sense? Is it clear? The last one was solution. I want to make sure, give you some opportunity. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in here or in the chat. I'm happy to answer them. Let me just put a comment in here just to make sure. Questions? Leave a comment. So I just want to give you a quick recap. Pain, agitate, solution is actually the classic marketing formula, and it works quite well for courses. And right now in Coursera, it focuses a lot on, you don't have to provide a syllabus. You could just deal with the pain specifically. The key is finding the right audience. So pain is about like connecting with the right audience. Agitate is really focused on, what happens, why is there urgency? Why do you need to do it now? I mean, the other things you could do is just offer a discount. You go, okay, I'm going to give you a discount on this course up to the end of today, and then after today, then that's it. This deal is over. And so it's up to you how you want to offer that. So and then the last one, solution, is just making sure that it doesn't seem like it's overwhelming. That's the last thing you want, and that's not easy to do, right? It's easy to like create multi-hours of courses, but then creating it tight, like, why do I need to learn these? These are the fundamentals of you getting towards your goal. Okay. So the next step that I'm going to cover is, go back. Okay, are you ready? Oh no, I have to hide that. Okay. So the next step is to motivate action. So with our online course, do we want people to just watch the videos, or do we want to transform their lives? If our goal is to change their lives, then they must take action. There are different levels of action that will result in different levels of learning. And the level of action also corresponds to the willingness to invest and the price that they're willing to pay. So sometimes if you want a higher level of action, one of the best ways to filter just the people who will take action is just to charge more for your course. If it is a free course, or if it is a very low cost course, then the people who are going to join may be way less committed than somebody who like pays a high amount, hundreds of dollars for a course, or over $100. They're going to be much more committed to getting results because they're like, I paid all this money. I need to get the result from it. Make sense? So the first level that I'm going to cover is called observe, the observe level. And observe is interesting because like people will like typically watch if the course is available for free. For example, they might be curious about a topic, but they don't have immediate plans to use that information. Perhaps that course is going to give them some new ideas for their business that they'll use in the future. Great, right? So the goal with observers is to get them to watch more videos. And this is where I found that shorter, like 2 to 5 minute videos tend to result in this feeling of accomplishment. It motivates them to watch more videos. And it also makes it easier for them to go back to a particular spot in the course itself, because most learning management system or the courses, they will track like how many you've done. So they'll give you like a check mark for each one that you've completed. So instead of searching back through like 15 or 30 minutes of video or like an hour-long video, you can just jump back to the last course that you finished. And so you'd only have to potentially redo maybe 2 to 5 minutes. So it makes the cost of coming back to the course very, very low. So your goal here is to reduce the cost of coming back to your course. Of course, there are other ways that you can motivate. You can connect courses to a drip campaign, which means that a new content is offered on a schedule rather than everything being released at once. Because if it's all released at once, maybe it's too overwhelming. If you just release a little bit every day or every week, that might be a good way to build a habit of doing your course. It's a really great way to motivate learners who have paid, but maybe they haven't yet started the course, which happens, right? Sometimes you pay for something, you think, oh, it's going to be really useful, and you forget about it. And then you never come back to the course. So you want to have the best experience possible. And if they don't complete the course, it's not really going to help them. So you definitely want to provide reminders. And it is possible, to automate these actions because you can find out who clicked on a link using an email automation tool like MailChimp. So MailChimp will tell you, oh, this person did or did not click the link. If they didn't click the link within a certain number of days, then just send them a reminder email. Just tell them like, hey, there's this other part of the course, or maybe that's where the drip campaign comes in. By the way, I've got something new for you. Go and check this out. If you haven't checked it out already, you can just catch up. It's really easy. This is how you do it. You're not trying to guilt anybody, it's just saying, oh, hey, how come you didn't take the course? I mean, people are, they are motivated in different ways. And you can even extrinsically motivate observers to offer them a reward, such as a badge, if they complete all of the videos. So in my video funnels course, I offer a badge to anyone who just completes all the videos. If you just watch all the videos, here is a little badge that says video funnel secrets. And then you can include that in, say, a resume or a LinkedIn profile. But it's not personalized. So it doesn't have your name on it or anything. It just says like, hey, here's the badge. And I figured like it's a good way to get people, like give them something. I mean, it's just a digital badge, but you never know, like you never know what is going to motivate people. So just something simple like having a badge can make a big difference. So I hope that is making sense. That is for the Observe crew. So I think I've covered Observe. Oh, no, I didn't write Observe. Okay. Okay, so the next one is called Reflect. So let me turn off this caption. So is that making sense so far? Observe? Okay. All right. So the next one I'm going to be covering is Reflect. Just make sure I've got everybody covered here. I want to make sure that we're all on the same page. Any questions so far? Is this sinking in? Is it making sense? Like why I say that there's different levels? It's not necessarily that observing is bad. It just means that maybe they don't know how they're going to use it right now. They just want to learn. And maybe they don't want to do the course or they're not motivated. That's okay. It's not here to we're not here to judge them. How do we encourage them to watch more videos? Because if they observe more, then it's going to lead them more towards those other levels of action. Make sense? Okay. So Reflect. I find Reflect to be very interesting. You don't need a lot in order to get people to reflect. So even if they are not going to use what they learned in the course immediately, people still want this way, and they're going to remember more if they reflect on what they just learned. So, I mean, during a live stream, I can ask, how would you solve this problem? What would you do if you were in this same situation? But what can you do if your course is not offered live? So, for example, it's a video that you previously recorded that you wanted to turn into a course. What are the options for you? Well, there's multiple ways to use a multiple choice question, but I've found that negative answers tend to require a little bit more thinking. So, for example, I created a question for my video funnels course that required the audience to look at a picture and tell me, well, what is um, not something like what is something that does not need to be improved in this video? And so you have to look at it and you go, is it like it's not bright enough? Is it like he's too far away from the microphone? Is his face too small? All of these things, or is there too much stuff? Like I don't know, right? Like, but it's good because it requires you to think like, oh yes, these ones I all agree. Of course, I need to do these things, but then it makes you think a little bit more critically. A negative answer. I hope that makes sense. It's like which of the following is not a good practice? Which of the following is not a good way of learning online courses? Which of the following is not a good thing to do with video funnels? Those are examples of ways that you can ask that question. And I think the key here is like this is not like a curriculum. I'm not really trying to teach people how to do a course. Like people are doing this because they want to. And so the key is like you want to make the total number of questions fairly short. People don't need to know everything in order to be able to act on what they had learned. And so this is helpful. Ed, this may sound weird, but this could be great for remote rehab. Remote rehab. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Yeah, that's an interesting question. Yeah, I could see that. I think especially if people are learning something that like it's new, right? Like yes, they already know how to do some type of skill, but now they have to relearn it because of something. And I could see that like a lot of it is how do I motivate them just on the small, and then I have to motivate them to take action. So taking action, it's interesting more and more that I see it like sales and teaching are getting closer and closer. It seems kind of crazy. It's like, come on, like most people, most educators, most teachers not see them as a marketer. But the more I see it, I'm like, no, like nowadays, like this is so important. You got to learn the skill. If you want to be like a really, truly like legendary educator, it's going to be those who motivate people to action. And knowing these skills, and they're not like new skills. They've been around for ages. They don't teach you this in teacher school, I imagine, because why do they need to? Like you're in school, you don't have a choice. It's like, no, people have choices now. And especially when they're learning at home, they will choose to listen to what's most interesting to them. So motivation is everything. And so I'm a huge advocate. I'm a huge advocate of motivating people to learn. So the key is if they miss something, they can always go back and learn it again. And that's one of the reasons why for what I teach, I try to motivate maybe ideally like one question per topic. And so usually like that topic takes like 10 or 15 minutes to cover all the aspects. And I only ask one question out of everything. And I think that maybe it won't work. Okay. So one question per topic is very important. Let me just, this happens sometimes. Yeah. Where am I? Okay, here. Okay, yeah. So when we are referring to reflecting, covering one question per topic is really, it's really a simple way of doing it. I love creating scenarios where and asking them to think about the best solution and providing an explanation for why that is the best solution. I know that this is more effort on the part of the person who is teaching the lesson, but I feel that it's very important actually. If you are able to do it, that's interesting. like if you are able to do this, it makes a huge difference. And so because it helps you know who is like at what point are they, what is their level of learning with respect to this topic. And I find that that is hugely beneficial. Hmm. Okay. So I'm gonna just give me a sec while I restart things. Okay, I got it. Cool. We are back in action. Woohoo! Yep. Sign up. Okay. Done that. Yep. I don't know why it sometimes gets stuck. Yeah. Courses to the drip, reflect. In the meantime, do you guys have any questions? Like, please put something in the chat and let me know. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. And I know, like, there's a little bit of a pause here, but that's on purpose. Like, we want to make sure that you guys have an opportunity for getting your questions answered. Okay. So, perfect. I love creating scenarios. Yeah. Mhm. So I love like typically like I try to motivate the work of going and doing the questions by providing a personalized certificate for everyone who is able to answer above a certain threshold. It could be like 80%. And there's a lot of systems like LearnDash that I'm using right now that are very good at doing this. And I really like the approach used by Duolingo, where you can go directly to the quiz. You don't have to take any of the actual video lessons, and you can test your knowledge first. And that's really powerful because then you can go back and watch only the videos that you don't understand yet. So every learner starts with a different level of prior knowledge. So why not start with only the videos that cover the gaps in what you already know? So that's one of the reasons why I love this like exam, thing. It's like start with the test, right? Like I think there's some edu protocols that cover this exact same method. And I think it's powerful because there's so much that you come in with. There's so much knowledge that you know already. So I love that. The last step, and that I want to cover, and it's an important one, is about creation. So you want people to be able to not only reflect, but you want them to also be able to create. And so write down create and create. Cool. So the best way to learn is to create something from what you've learned. And if you were to offer assignments, I'd recommend that every single assignment is something that the learner would have to do anyways to achieve their goal. So learners may not have to do like they don't have time to do like assignments specific to just your course. But if you make it clear that these are the exact steps that you'll need in order to achieve your goal, it'll help to motivate those who are serious about transformation. Like, for example, I'm a huge fan of peer learning. And when learning about sales and closing from Dan Lok, I had found that role plays with other students, especially those who are more advanced in the skill than you are, is massively beneficial to know where you currently stand and how you need to improve. It's kind of similar to like sparring with a higher belt level in a dojo. I want to practice the skill before going out and using it in real life. And so for creative work, I encourage creating this safe and welcoming community for celebrating creative work and encouraging one another. Now, practically, you could do this obviously in any course, like you could do it inside LearnDash. But I've found that social media, such as Facebook groups, are powerful because people don't need to change their habits in order to be a part of your community. And that's the biggest problem is that, yes, it works, but here's the problem. You've got to like join some new like online community inside Coursera, and like who has time for that? Like they have to go and do something else. But if you're already just browsing Facebook anyways, like it's just right there. Like your community is ever present and it'll appear in your feed every once in a while. It's easy in comparison to the amount of effort of logging into a new system. So sometimes a live critique of creative work by the instructor can be a very powerful way of learning about what you can improve. So for example, ask learners to submit their LinkedIn profile and provide them with feedback directly. This helps like quickly skip all of those initial steps on the on your course, and it only deals with the parts that matters the most, and your students or your learners do not know yet. Is that making sense? Like you can skip everything. I'm a huge fan of like just-in-time learning means why do I got to learn everything from like the basics all the way up? You don't need to, right? Like you can motivate it by just having modules and say, here's the test for this module. If you understand it, just do the test, pass it, and then move on to the next thing. You don't need to go and watch all the videos. What's the point, right? If you know this stuff, like I don't want to waste your time. Don't waste their time by giving them an online course that, it teaches them a bunch of stuff that they already know. And this is another part where I think motivating, this leads into the next section. So before I move on, how we doing in terms of questions? Leave them in the comments. Of course, we are here to answer any questions that you might have. Where's that tag for Ed? Yeah, questions, leave them in the comments. So I appreciate that. Now, the last section that I want to cover, motivating proofs. So feedback should not only be for the students, the instructor needs feedback about their course as well. If this is negative or constructive feedback, it can be used to create a new version of the course that's even better. And if this is positive feedback, then it can be used as a testimonial to talk about how this course has transformed people's lives. Now, as I know, like as instructors, we're often self-conscious about the feedback that's provided. But in the spirit of lifelong learning, the online world is very different from the traditional face-to-face learning environment. So we have to learn as much about search engine optimization for our online courses as we do learning the actual materials that we're teaching. There are two different aspects. Like, yes, you have the student as your customer, but you have another customer, which is the algorithms, the AI. And you need to learn that portion as well. Like, how do I make it so that it's easier for people to search and find my course? Is just as important as, do I know the stuff in my course as well? So Alice asked a good question. Do you see this as the future of K-12 education? I see it as supplementing K-12 education, but not necessarily replacing it, simply because like it's a good system. It is structured in a way that's very useful, but I do think that people will need to supplement it for sure in K-12. And they are going to be looking for courses that are very narrow and very specific, and that is going to be very powerful. We're already seeing it today. There are so many micro courses out there, so many micro credentials. So definitely universities are already taking advantage of that. And if you look at what employers are looking for, same thing. It's crazy. They are looking for micro skills. They're looking for, hey, I'm looking for somebody who can do these skills. So in the same way, like the world of AI mitigated work is changing. So as a result, I suspect that education is going to require the same thing because it's about keywords now. It's about search engine optimization for your resume and less about, oh, I've done something that's big. Because it's big, it's hard to discover, it's hard to write down, and it's hard to search and find. So how searchable is that skill is almost as important as which skill you learn. So yeah, absolutely. So I hope that answers your question. Feedback from our own customers is gold. This could be strong motivation for putting your course onto something like Coursera, just because you can collect so much customer feedback. If you have an independent online course, such as like I do for AI parenting, it may be beneficial to offer those who give you a video testimonial something beneficial, so if somebody writes a video testimonial of how this course has been helpful to them, you give them a reward such as you can offer them like swag from your store or maybe a discount on the next course that they take with you. That can be a good way of building a relationship with the student. Remember, it's not what you learn, but it's who you learn from that is important. You're building an educational brand, and what you want is repeat customers. So anything that you can learn from, like anything that can help the learning experience, is going to be beneficial not just for that student, but for every student that you teach in the future. And that constant improvement that is going to make a huge difference for you. In the end, learners do not remember what you taught them, but they remember how you made them feel. And so, what are you doing to make sure that the experience that they have when they finish the course is a positive one? If we aren't getting positive reviews for our online course, well, what do we need to do to improve it? Now, an instructor can never know what's going to benefit their students the most without this constant iteration. Like a good place to start is to look at the feedback of other courses. What are the things that others wanted to know, but they couldn't find out in that course? That is a great starting point. Start by offering those missing items. And what did the course cover that others already knew? So maybe those are the things that need to be removed from your course. And by doing this constant optimization, you're adding more value to every student that takes your course. You're removing the things that they already know, and you're adding in new things that they wish they knew, but you didn't have time to cover. I hope that is making sense, because this is really key. Like a lot of courses these days, I find they don't know what you know. They can't know what you know. So how can you make sure that this is adding value? This is unique, that this is something that's worthwhile. Well, make sure that you look at other reviews. Like you don't have to do a lot of creative thinking here. You just need to, it's a mechanical task. Just go and look at reviews of others' courses. You'll be able to find out pretty quick. And this goes for everything. It goes for other social media, like what should I do? Look at best practice. Honestly, the best practice is out there. There are courses that have thousands of reviews. There's reasons why people love these courses, but there are also things that are missing from those courses. And that is your opportunity to cover those gaps. People, maybe they already know about how to do video and social media. They don't need to have a course on that, but video funnels, do they know how to do that? Like it was kind of the searching of it. It's something that I did in practice that helped me know, oh, there's a demand for this. Like speaking to my own customers, speaking to people and going, well, what's going to be most helpful for you? That is very, very powerful. And so I want to make sure that that one's sinking in. So let me just double check. Yes, perfect. So this is about motivating, right? So we're really talking about motivating proofs. And once you have it's like social proofs, and I'll even like, I want to show you this because like it's important for you to see this in practice, and you can even see how Coursera does it. And I think that this is important because for any course, that's not the course. Let me see. Oh, I can search video marketing here. So I was looking today at video marketing courses on Coursera, and there are other courses. This is not the only one. But let me give you a practical example. Okay, so in this course, I'm just going to zoom in here. So this is a Coursera course on video marketing. So you search video marketing, this one comes up to the top. Okay, So 62,000 students, it has a 4.7 rating. That's not bad, right? So I'd start here and I go, okay, well, I see that there's this course on, this is the person who's enrolled, and you can see like it charges for free. There's social proof right in the top, very, very powerful. And then it goes, here's the course. And then if you go through the course, it tells you like, it mainly is trying to deal with the pain. So how familiar are you with marketing communication campaign? Learn more about this key pillar in the marketing mix. So I felt like, it could be done better in terms of the enrollment here. And then you scroll down, here is the professor of marketing who is involved with this course and the organization that it's offered by. Now, there's some social proofs down here, but the thing I don't like about this is that these social proofs have nothing to do with this course. These social proofs are for Coursera as a whole. And so you'll find that like no matter what you see, you just see a bunch of Coursera is great. But it has nothing to do with, necessarily this course, but that's okay. You'll see other courses that are related to it and then what people learned. And then of course, what it does is it goes through the syllabus. And then there's this part right here, which is the top reviews from people who have taken this course. And I think this is the part that is really powerful. It interested me so much that I was able to complete the entire module within 2 days. Great learning experience. So like there's a lot of good things, but I'd also look at like, okay, not just the positive reviews, because the positive reviews will explain why people took the course in the first place. So you want to take the positive reviews and use that copy, that marketing copy inside your own course description. Then the next, it would be the negative reviews. I cannot understand what they're saying. Their accents are too thick. I didn't make it through the two videos of this free trial. Okay. So like the language, is it clear? Is it informative? This course was an eye-opener. Okay, great. But what was missing from this course? A few advertisements are too good to understand the concept. So that's the thing is like, this is a key common thing with teaching courses is that they all only talk about positive examples. They only say like, oh, this is like a really great example, but you don't learn anything because everything is wonderful in this magical world of like video marketing. But what about like video marketing campaigns that flopped, that really did terribly? Oh, like that could be an awesome thing to cover. Why don't we go through examples of things where it's absolutely terrible and it didn't succeed? That is powerful. And to me, that's what people don't do enough of, is they need to look more at where it failed, where the course didn't succeed. And that will give them so much better of an understanding of what they can do to improve, like in terms of their learning. Skip all the stuff that Okay, I got to have a video. It's got to have like, text descriptions, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's easy. But people who still learned that failed. They knew all this stuff, in this course, but they still struggled. Why? Why did they struggle? Well, the exact reason is right there, right? Like you can learn from their experience, and that's what you want to do. Like that's what they really want to have the opportunity to do, is just to learn from that experience directly. And so that's one of the reasons why you want to take this course. This course will specifically deal with let's say the 5 most common pitfalls of doing online marketing using video, that people, like the 5 most common mistakes. Here's how you can avoid them. Again, people are more likely to pay to get away from the pain than they will to gain from the benefit of whatever video marketing is going to be providing. So I think like if you're going to market something like this, I would move away from, like here are the strengths, here's why video marketing is so right for you, to more here's why it didn't work for a bunch of people, and here's the things that you can do to get around that. Because maybe they've already decided that they're doing video marketing. The question is whether or not you're the right fit for them. And if you start explaining like, well, other people took the course and it still ran into all these mistakes, you're just dealing with those mistakes. Whoa, awesome. So I hope that's making sense. Like it really covers what you can do here. And there's a lot of potential in this space. Okay, cool. Now, the next one is, this is really the last one. And what I want to do is I want to like just explain to you a little bit of what I've been doing so far. And if you don't mind, I'm going to run through my course a little bit. And the way I'm going to do this is, I think, what's the best way? Can I share this screen? Yeah. Okay. So maybe I'll show you my course and I'll show you what that looks like, just to give you like a brief preview, because I want to make sure that this is fully sinking in here, and I want it to be practical. I don't want to. There's no point in just like having a discussion around the course and what can be done. So let's see, does this work? Does that work? No. Okay. Oh, it works. Yay. Okay, so here's the course that I have. And so when I go into courses, am I logged in? Just want to make sure I'm logged in. So I have a couple like test accounts that I use just to make sure everything's working. I think it was, it's not working. Okay, give me a sec while I switch. I'll get logged in here first. And then once I'm logged in, I want to show you what the actual course itself looks like, because it took a while to get to this point. And I'm sorry if this is running a little bit slow, but the key point here is that it's very interesting. I've learned so much in doing this course. And I found it very interesting, like the things that you pick up. Okay, so here we go. Back into it. Okay, so here is the video funnels course, right? So video funnel secrets. I have the video, and now I'm logged in. So I've actually paid for the course, and I'm logged in, and getting it so that it connects with the shop. That's what LearnDash and the WooCommerce and the WordPress does. And so that was really powerful. But this is not the only way. Like you could do Kajabi, for example. I think it does that the same thing. Or you could put your course onto any type of learning management system. And in here, what I found that has been very interesting is that it takes your course, and here are the different pieces of the curriculum. So if I click on the first one, it'll just load up the video, and it says, okay, this is the face-to-face video. And so you can play this. You can even play this on a mobile device. It doesn't really matter. It loads up the video. And then there's like a little bit where you can learn more. And then you can just mark once you've completed this brief video, you can move on to the next one and move on to the next one and next one. And so once you've done that, and of course, if you want, you don't actually have to do the entire course. You can actually skip direct to, forget it. I'm just going to go and collect my certificate, right? I'm going to go straight to the test. And this is what I love. So once you've got that, here's your little badge that I was referring to earlier, right? The video funnels badge. Great. Now you can also start the quiz. And so I asked like, okay, which of the following is not? And so I'm using the no, like the negative. And I'm going to choose, it's not a way to get your live videos to be more like a face-to-face conversation. Is it using multiple mobile devices, a software beauty filter, a web camera, or adding more light? So the answer here is, which one do you think is the answer? Is a software beauty filter. And the reason for that is it's going to create lag on your video. It's going to actually make it seem less like a real person. So none of this actually helps you make it look more like a face-to-face, because you can't apply beauty filters in real life. And so next, the next is, which is the following is not a reason to engage live. Is it to put your audience on the spot? No, right? So this is not, and I like the negative ones. And so this is just a quick example course that I created. It'll say like, okay, your quiz is complete. It's all done through LearnDash. And it goes, great, you've got like the score is good enough. And if it wasn't, then it would say like restart the quiz. And then it gives you the option to print your certificate. So you push a button, and it will give you a PDF certificate. Now this is, you could do this using Autocrat. I think that's one way of doing it. I'm using LearnDash because it's all integrated. And this user's name, by the way, I called ed3, TSE3, just as a test. But it gives you a sense of like, oh yeah, there's like a full-on certificate that comes with it. And so I found that that's one way that helps draw their attention. And then another one that I found helpful is in the course and in the shop, I try to make it so that you can actually see the course. So you get like a visual of what all the different modules are. So attention, video, 60 seconds. So you can see like you're getting quite a bit of a package with this. And I think the visual is as important as the course itself. Like, yes, you need the explanation, but you also need that course. And so I like it's in the shop and it's also in the courses page as well. So both of them are there, and I want to like keep in mind that I'm not completely done yet with this course, but I'm using this to motivate like why people would want to take the course, and I'm trying to create basically a sales page around this. And I think once I figure out the formula of what this looks like, that's what I'm trying to get at here. Is like that's the goal here. Is you want to motivate them. And so if you want to take a look at this live, you just go to aiparenting.live. Actually, I think I have that in my last slide. Yeah. So if you want to see all of this live, you just go to aiparenting.live, or you can just follow me on Twitter at aiparenting. And from there, you can see this course kind of live in action. And maybe if you sign up for the if you sign up for the email list, what I'll do is maybe later today, I can set up discount codes. So I'll set up a discount code for you, and then you can go and check out the course, and you can give me some feedback as to what you think about the course. Because I'm always looking to improve it. So as an kind of an early, like for early access, I'll give you like early access to it because I want to learn with you guys. And again, I'm not saying that my course is like it's all figured out. I'm just saying once we figure out a good formula for this, then you've got a way to go from video to attention and leads to an actual product that you would sell them. And then you can go out finally. And this is kind of near the next step that I want to cover. Attracting a cold audience using paid advertisements, because at that point you are already hopefully making some revenue from your existing funnel. And once you have that, then it's fairly easy to justify, okay, yeah, I'm going to spend a little bit more money so that I can attract a larger audience. And that's kind of my goal, is like I want you to be able to make money from these courses, not just go and make a bunch of videos. Like what's the point of making a bunch of videos and then nobody ever watches your stuff? And you never make any revenue. Like you're here not to just to become an influencer. I'm hoping you're here also to see how this can actually turn into regular revenue for you. And so that's all I have for today. Do you guys have any questions before we go? I just want to make sure. Motivating proofs. Last questions. Last chance. Yes, exactly. Yeah, honestly, I think that it was interesting learning this process of creating it and what is possible with assignments. I knew from very early on when I created the AI parenting site, I didn't just want this to be a site where you just watch a bunch of videos or you even pay for things. Like I wanted it to be connected to a learning management system. And I felt that the reason for this was I didn't want to just have a bunch of videos that you can watch and then like nobody does anything, because that's not really going to transform anybody's lives. And I think that was the point, right? It's like, how can I see transformation or action on your part? And that's why I created this course, or why I've created all these video streams. Yes, like they're drawing attention, but the whole point of it was to motivate you to action, to give you that that creative best practice, that unfair advantage in the marketplace. And so that's one of the reasons why I looked at it like a video is much more than a video. If you do it well, it can be used it can be used and reused in many different ways. And that's the beautiful thing I love about it, is that it motivates you in such a, like it is so powerful. And in today's world of distracted attention, it's the best thing that we've got to get attention. Alice says, good information. I'm working on summer courses now, and I'll keep these notes in mind. Oh, fantastic. How perfect. Yeah, I imagine nowadays, a lot of us are thinking about courses and we're thinking, oh, well, what would that look like? And I think in the long run, you will have to expect that your course is going to have to be competitive against many, if not hundreds, if not thousands of courses out there. So why would people buy your course as opposed to everyone else's? It's going to be your ability to understand marketing. What is your unique sales proposition that is going to allow you to step ahead of the competition and to really get your course out there? And I think that a lot of you already, like you know so many things that are unique to this world. It's just a matter of turning that into a course. And so if there is anything that I can do that can help you with that process, let me know. I like because I want to be involved. I want to see how we can make this grow for you, how we can make this something that is sustainable for you. And it's not going to be sustainable if you're not making revenue. And so while I'm learning this stuff the hard way, doing everything manually on the fly, you're learning it with me. So you can learn the mistakes that I made and you can avoid them. And that's a great starting point because I think that many of you may have experience or maybe you don't have experience. It doesn't matter. Like if you know that once you get started, these are common pitfalls and you can avoid them, that can be helpful. And so again, thank you so much, Alice. Thank you for everyone for joining us live. I was going to say, from the bottom of our hearts, we appreciate everyone who is able to share the time with us today. And we are looking to find out what's the best way that we can motivate you, we can grow your business, your ideas. And so with that, we will see you next week where we're going to be discussing a little bit more about the marketing side. Like we're actually going to go and make Facebook ads and we're going to start taking that content, those video content that you made. We've got a product now. Now we're going to start connecting it to actual sales for a cold audience. And we have to do things differently for a cold audience. This is not people who are already on your email list. These are just people who don't know you at all. And understanding a little bit about this process is going to help you no matter what kind of course you do. So with that, thank you so much for joining us on AI Parenting Live, and we will see you all